Welcome back to Bless Your Heart. I'm talking the podcast. This is your host, Zeta. I'm going to have another exciting episode of just me talking. I, when you're recording by yourself, it's really funny. I thought it'd be so much easier to schedule by myself. And it's not, because now I don't have someone else staring at Rick to let him know he really does have to be quiet for a minute. And he just doesn't know how, y'all. So every time that I think that it's a good time, he starts teetering with something else. And then it's hard for me to get upset because he's being very helpful. He's getting stuff done. It's like the trials of Rick trying to get him to do that. I thought last night, I was like, okay, I've been trying to get them done on the weekend. So last night I was like, okay, I'm getting this done, getting it, knocked out. If I record now, it'll post a week from this Monday. So I try to be a week out. Sometimes it definitely does not work out, but that's the goal. So whenever, I knew yesterday was Saturday, that he was going to go fishing last night. And I thought that was great. I had all day long to do all the other stuff that I needed to do. And I did everything else. And I was like, as soon as he leaves at 4, I'll record. And then 4 hit, and I was like, I don't feel like recording. And I kind of have to feel it, so I don't have anything I really want to talk about right now. And, I write down ideas, but sometimes even though it's something I do want to talk about at some point, I'm just not in the mood to talk about it right now, maybe. And so typically what happens is something happens and it inspires me to talk about something. And so something might piss me off, or maybe I just find it funny, or, my family, whatever. I get material from my everyday life. And nothing happened this week. It was just boring. I didn't piss anyone off I know about. I didn't, there was just nothing exciting going on. So, the one thing, I was like, I guess I'm just going to record about nothing. I didn't want to do a whole bunch of catching up because honestly, there's been nothing going on. Except, I'm sure you all heard the news. I know you did, about Amy and Al, have split up. Obviously not my topic to discuss, and I will not be discussing. Love them both. That's all I have to say about that. And, wish the best for them. But I do see Al's granddaughter, Charlie, quite a bit. And that kid, man, she is so funny. And her birthday is this upcoming Friday, which will be before this even post. But I spent the last few days trying to get her stuff for her birthday because I haven't gotten to shop for a little kid in a long time. And she's a girly girl, y'all. And so I wanted to get her something, having her birthday here. And she has her family here, her dad's family. But she doesn't know a bunch of little kids and stuff. So I wanted to make sure that I could get her, something. And so I had the best time yesterday going around shopping for her. And I took one of my daughters with me and we just picked up cute little girl things. And what a fun day that was. So I did that. And then I got back home and I was like, I just got nothing to discuss. I'm just not feeling this. So then I was like, well, I'll just, since Rick was going to be fishing all night, I was like, I'll just take Zoll to dinner and something will come, So I'm having dinner with him. We had Chinese food. And then it was time to head home. And on the way home, both of us were like, it was so good, y'all, this Chinese food. And we get home. Both of us are like, I'm so tired now. That was exhausting. So I went to sleep at 7:15 on a Saturday night, y'all. 7:15. So needless to say, I did not get anything recorded yesterday while he was gone. And then I was supposed to pick up one of my kids from work at 11. I overslept. I did not plan on that. Thankfully they got a ride. And then I got up in the middle of the night, and because I am menopausal and I went to sleep too early, I'm wide awake and he's still fishing. And so I'm just like, what do I do now? So I kind of milled around my bedroom and did things. And then I was like, I guess I could record right now, but it's 2:30 in the morning. I'm definitely not feeling it. So I was like, no. And I sound all raspy. I'm like, this is not a good time to record either. I finally got it in, y'all. And what I need from y'all is things you want me to discuss. I have a list still from when Kelly and I were together, but it doesn't really seem as it's not the same podcast. It just doesn't make as much sense with it, even though some things apply, not everything. So I'd appreciate if y'all throw me some ideas would be awesome, because I'd like to cover things that my current listeners like to listen to. The other thing was, I am trying to record the poems, and I thought about reading those, and I was like, I'm not even feeling that. Just some days you don't feel it, and I didn't feel it. The other thing that I've been doing is this tablescaping competition, which will have already be posted by the time this post also, so I don't want to talk too much on that one, but let me tell you, if I don't win, I'm really going to be embarrassed, because Al has done nothing to prepare. Nothing at all. And when I told him, when we were talking about it the day before yesterday, he was like, well, I could just get a picture of Curtis with his dog bowl, like an ode to Curtis. And I was like, now that is cheating, and no, we're not doing that, because he goes, I'll win. I'm like, yeah, hell yeah, you'd win. You get the sympathy vote. So we'll see. If he said he wasn't going to do it, but we'll see. So as far as I know, he has put zero thought into this. So we're going to see what happens. It was a good idea. Just maybe would have been a better idea to do it not as Charlie's living with him and keeping him so busy and his hands so full, and or maybe once he's got a schedule down with her, I guess. So we're going to see, I guess, how that goes and how it works out. Something else that I thought about, random thought, was I heard a girl talking about being rooted and how she grew up in the city, and growing up in the city that she moved around within the city, but she stayed in the same large city. She didn't say what city it was, and how she moved out into a smaller town, and she realized how very different the childhoods were, and even some adulthoods of people that stayed in the same small town growing up or area, and compared to somebody growing up in the city. And she was calling it rooted. And I wish I had her name, I'd tell you. It only had like one person that had even commented or liked it. It was, this isn't a big creator. I thought about it more after I watched just a few seconds of it. And I was like, I wish I could go back and watch the whole one and then see what else she had to say. But she was basically saying that, this is where she said a little bit, and then I'm going to tell you, I went from there thinking about it. But how her childhood in the city, how they weren't rooted. They didn't have things that just everybody did and everybody knew they did. So like skating rinks was her example. Like every Friday night, like 13-year-olds were going to the skating rink when I was growing up. And that's what made me think about when she noticed it. We all knew we were going to the skating rink on Friday night in my small town. And the skating rink wasn't even in my small town. It was the town just north of us. And everybody from the area would go. You would meet teenagers from all the little small towns around there. And every Friday night you went. And it was primarily kids between I would say 11 to 14. And then they would kind of move past that. And back in the day, we had Cruisin. So this one I thought of, if you're my age and you're from a small town, you know what I'm talking about. If you're from the city, this is probably foreign to you. But we had what we would call Cruisin, where we would go up and down the main street here in Waxahachie. Or if I was visiting home in San Saba, we had the same Cruisin up and down the main street of San Saba. And you basically would, now bear in mind, this is the 80s, 90s, early 90s. And you would drive up and down the main road of the town in your vehicle or your friend's vehicle. And each vehicle was usually full. It was usually like 5 girls or like a couple or like 2 couples. But it was everybody in town. Every Friday and Saturday night, if you went downtown Waxahachie in the 80s, you were going to cruise, and then you'd park, and people would drive real slow, and they'd hang out the windows and yell at each other, and people would be drinking and smoking and listening to Motley Crue real loud, and it is everything you imagine from small town Texas in the 80s, okay? There was going to be some Garth Brooks, I Got Friends in Low Places playing out of some cars. There's going to be some heavy metal in some cars. It was going to be all kinds of stuff. And you know what you didn't see is a lot of alternative kids. When I would go, I wouldn't go with my alternative friends. None of them did that. I'd go with my brother and all his country friends, or I would go with my cheerleader friends and, certain groups more so. So that was one of those small rooted things that I think that's really unique to a small town. And that's what she was talking about. She was like, there wasn't just anything that just everybody went and did. Like there was no universal, this is what you're doing on a Friday night if you're this age. And even like football games, it wasn't a big deal to them. Whereas here, during football season, you're going to be at the football game is where you're going to be, or at least back then. And even now, it's not as big a thing, which is crazy because I'm in Texas and it is a thing, but it's not as big a thing, I don't think, at least in my area. It is a thing, but it's not like the whole town shuts down. Whereas in the 80s and 90s, like the whole town pretty much shut down and everybody went to the football game. Even if they didn't have a kid that played in the school, like you still went. And another one of those things that I think is pretty rooted would be the whole like relationship with church and the school. So in these small towns, your networking is all done in the church, and everybody goes to the same one or two churches in a small town. I mean, typically there's going to be two main churches in a town. Some smaller towns like one, some bigger towns like three. But like at the time where I grew up, there was like two that everybody I knew went to. And three, if you count the one in the town over that some of the kids went to our school. And it was where the parents networked. It was where the kids got to know each other. So then you'd get on a baseball team or a basketball team or a softball team and cheerleading team. And when you're in elementary and you would, you knew the kids that were rooted, that were on the team. They all went to church together. They went to church camp together. They went to youth group together. Their parents would have, things together because they went to the same church. So they were very rooted. Relationships were already made. With those relationships, you had people having their parents would become friends, and then that you would have trips with families going places. Or like one good example is I didn't go to church growing up. My parents weren't religious. But all my friends went to church, and so I'd get rides to church, and so I'd form relationships that way. And I did learn a lot. A lot of the reason I wanted to go to church wasn't to go to church. It was because I wanted to make friends or I wanted to see friends. Like, that's what a big deal it is to go to the church. And I went to all kinds of churches because I was going to churches with people so that I could just have that community, I guess is the best way to put it. And, my friends that are from the city, that's very foreign to them. Just like my friend from Utah that I talked about before, that she thought I was making up stories because I had all these funny little crazy stories. And in reality, she just lived in a completely different type of environment that I did. I'm sure she would have the same experiences. And part of that is too, like, a good example is almost like Texas itself. And I'm sure this is true to a lot of states. Like I know for Louisiana it is, but I know for Tennessee it is, but southern states in particular, but I'm sure all of them. We have our things, right? The things that we do. And that when you're in the city, you don't have the same experiences as the kids that are from the country in the things that they do. And again, it goes back to being rooted in your community and rooted into that lifestyle, because you're going to have things like me growing up on the river. My family's from the hill country, and that's why I spent so much time out there on the river and doing all the hill country activities. So if you're not from Texas, the Texas hill country is considered central Texas for the most part. And it is where it's the hill country. There's lots of hills. There's also lots of rivers, and there's a lot of beautiful scenery and things to do if you're outdoorsy. And so I love it. I grew up out there, and I do it all the time. I'm in the river floating. I'm in the river in a chair. I am hiking. I'm riding horses. I don't ride it as much anymore. But all those things, shooting guns and, hunting and fishing and kayaking and, staying active. And I grew up like that. And like my ex-husband was from the city, and he did not grow up like that. And now it's funny because we grew up 10 miles apart. He grew up one town up over from me, but it was his family was from Dallas proper. So he had the experience of a family from Dallas proper, and he didn't do all the things that we did. We were driving at freaking 9 years old, unattended driving. No, that's not safe. I do not recommend. But that's the difference, because we had driven our trucks, family trucks, on ranches or, on farms or, country roads with our parents our whole lives. And so it's a different experience. And like my son married are not married, but he's, got a very serious girlfriend that is from Dallas. And she didn't experience any of that. She had never been swimming except in a pool. She didn't even know how to swim. She had been in a pool, but she didn't know how to swim. So since being with my son, we have shown her this whole new lifestyle, and she absolutely loves it. And she's swimming in creeks and rivers and lakes. And at first she was scared to death, but now she just fits right in. And she'll try anything. She enjoys everything. She's like, let's do it. Let's try it. Anytime I've ever taken someone out of the city into the country to do these things, their mind's blown. And it can go the other way around. Like, I don't think that there's the same kind of rooting thing in the city, but I do think that you have your things that people that are from the country don't get to experience. But something I don't think that city people understand is most country people still go to the city. So like when I was growing up, my cousins that were from San Saba would go to Dallas, Austin, or Houston to do their back to school shopping. They didn't do it around there. I mean, they might get some things around there, but almost every one of them went into the city, and it was like a weekend thing, and they'd get a hotel room, or, I guess you had to have a certain amount of money, but you would go for the day to the city and get all your school clothes and whatever else you needed. Or like my cousins, they take their kids to the museums in Fort Worth. They take them on cruises. They take them overseas. They take them, to do all these really cool things. So they do get to experience other things. And I think there's a misconception that these kids from the country don't get to do those things, and they do. But also, obviously, that also makes a difference on income, I'm sure. But it just makes you think, because it makes sense. Like when you see all these different personalities and these experiences, like, I don't talk about politics on here. And the reason I don't is I know everybody's different. But also I know that we all get to where we are based on life experiences. And I get why we don't understand each other's life experiences. Therefore, we don't always understand where each other's coming from politically, because we don't all experience the same things. And I'm not making excuses for one direction or the other or whatever, or what ifs. I don't care about all that. But what I'm saying is I am where I am based on the life I lived. And I would assume everybody else is the same for the most part. Some people are just going to go with what they're told. But I think for the most part. And I think looking at the differences between people from the city and people from the country and how you're rooted in your community and stuff like that, that makes a difference as well on life experiences and how you think of other people. And I think that the perception that people from the city have of people from the country and vice versa is just very, very different. And I've lived both, and quite a bit. As country as I sound, I have lived both. I lived in Dallas proper for years, and both my older children were born in Dallas proper. Like literally Dallas, that's on the birth certificate. And I lived in Dallas itself when they were born. And I didn't care for it so much, but I did find a lot of things I did like about it, and I still like about it, and I will go and enjoy in the city. And I think that there's pros and cons, but I do not think it has the sense of community. Now, I think you can find a sense of community in the city. So like Mary, my best friend, she was a bartender for years, still is in the Dallas area. And she has a community of people that are in the music industry and the tattoo industry that she hangs out with, and they have developed their own community where they do certain things together or whatever the case is. But it's nothing like this, and she could tell you this because she grew up in Red Oak doing the same small ass town shit that I did. It's nothing like that. The camaraderie we have and the relationships. And so here I am from this small town, and I'm going to know your grandma and your mom and your aunt and your uncle and all the good and the bad and the ugly. And I just think that knowing all that makes a difference in how you feel in your, I guess how you feel as far as a community and relationships. And whenever I lived in Houston and I was married and, decided to get a divorce and had to figure out where I was putting my roots back down, my goal was to get back to Ellis County, where I am now, because this is where all my friends were that I grew up. This is, this and San Saba are my homes, but I know more people here. I went to school here much more. And so I needed to get back here because I felt like I needed that sense. I didn't have that in Houston. I did not have that sense of community, and I didn't have those relationships where if I was in a bind, there were 30 people I could call or look up, or there's a good chance I could just walk across the street and find somebody and get help. And And I will tell you, like when I moved back here, I had a few times I had a car issue. I mean, I was very much single mom and a car issue. I need a kid picked up. I need a kid dropped off. Whatever I needed. And people would show up for me. Just people I hadn't seen in years would show up for me. I got a flat tire in South Dallas, in the hood part of South Dallas. And I put on Facebook, I'm afraid to get out of my car right now. I got this guy staring me down. There was a guy like staring me down. Can anyone come and help me change his tire? And within 10 minutes, a guy that I grew up with sent his adult son, and he showed up and changed my tire. And within 10 minutes. And another time, I ran out of gas. Do not judge me. And I ran out of gas, and I put it on Facebook. Can anyone help me out? I got a kid with me. We're late for something. 5 minutes later, someone's there with gas. 5 minutes. Like, I didn't even have to wait. And I think that a lot of times people make fun of it. Like, I mean, I see people make fun of it. I have a family member that makes fun of me for not leaving. But there is not enough money in the world for me to give up what I have in this little town. I mean, even if I moved outside of this little town, and that's probably what's going to happen. Rick and I are looking at property and stuff right now. And even if I were to move out of this little bubble and into a bigger part of the bubble, but still in Ellis County, I have a relationship with people in every one of these little towns because once you grow up in the county, people move into other parts of the county, but the relationships stay the same. And I couldn't give that up. This community has helped me so much with my children and with, being when I was a single mom particularly. And I just am so thankful for all of them. And it's a good little community to be from. And I don't think I'm alone. I think that this little type of town exists all over the place. And I regret not having my kids here from day one, and then I had to move them here. So, and it's so funny. When I graduated, I just wanted to get out. I graduated, and I was out the day after I graduated, I moved, and from high school, and all I wanted to do was run. And then as soon as I got divorced, all I wanted to do was run back, and it was absolutely the best decision that I ever made, and I'm real thankful for it. And so, I guess that's all I wanted to say about that. I got that from a literally 10-second clip that I didn't even watch the entire thing from. It really made me think about how thankful that I am for everything that I have. The other thing is, I was listening to one of these episodes, and I don't know what's going on with my sound, but I can hear every breath I make and every little sound that I make now. And maybe because I had Kelly there before, I didn't know it was mine. It was like, whose was that little weird breath? Yeah, it was me. Apparently, it's me. We know who it is now. And then I was listening to it, and I laughed because Zaylee has this little laugh she does that's really loud. And my sister India has a really loud laugh. And the other day, Zaylee did this loud laugh, and I was like, God, that's so loud. Your laugh is so... Who do you think I get it from? I was like, your Aunt India, I guess. No, Mom, your laugh is loud. And I was like, no, it's not. And then I always listen because after I write it, after I record it, I have to do like a description of the episode, and I fucking forget what I did, y'all. My memory's so bad these days. I forget what I talked about, and I have to listen to it again so I can write the description because it's usually a few days between the two. And so that's when I'm listening to it, and I heard myself laugh on it, and I was like, she really does laugh just like me, and that was really fucking loud. She's not lying, and I didn't realize how loud I was. And I'm loud, y'all. And doesn't that suck when you annoy yourself? That laugh annoyed me when I heard it. I was like, bless my heart. Anyways, that's all we got right now. That's the gist of it. It's a short and sweet one. I am going to follow it with some of that poetry reading. So there really is going to be a miniature additional episode of just poetry, and I hope y'all enjoy it. But if you don't want to listen to it, I totally understand. We'll have another episode. It's not going to be one of my Monday episodes. It's going to be thrown in there between two episodes. So I'm going to put a warning on it for people because I know it's not for everybody. But if you like that kind of thing, then check it out and let me know what you think. Sorry, this is a short and sweet one, but I don't have an exciting thing going on right now. And Lord knows I would hate to just be making some shit up like reviewer T squared, whatever they're he, she, they, them said, so we'll just cut it short, I guess. So if y'all want to jump on, if you don't already follow me on social media, let me just tell you right now, just follow my Facebook. I suck at the other ones, y'all. It's just so much to keep up with. I'm really trying. Facebook, it's my regular Facebook, not my podcast one. Part of it's because I have 2 podcasts, so it's really hard to promote both of them. I only can control one page because I own one podcast, the other one, and just hire talent for, Networks who owns Media. So I can't, it's hard to promote both of them is the best way to put it. So I'm having to get in and out and in and out. But anyways, the Facebook one, if you want the most, feel free to follow me. Feel free, you can even friend request me. I don't care. I haven't hit my limit. So whatever. I use it mainly for the podcast, and you might also see some random weird shit that's real life, and that's fine. I don't really hide anything or make anything up, contrary to my favorite reviewers' feelings. But otherwise, you can also find me on Instagram at ZMamacita. I do post on that one quite a bit too, and bless your heart, I'm talking on Instagram. And pretty soon I'll have that Amazon link up, or you can go now at zeta.owens_ it's -printify.com. And you can check out some merch, including the menopausal AF shirts and all the other goodies like that. And I would love to do a giveaway and give everybody a kitten. Who wants a kitten that will treat it right? Because Lord, if you're in the area, let me know, because we've been taking over. We love these damn kittens, y'all. This is a funny story because Rick... No, we're not keeping a kitten. The cat's not an outside cat. Mama cat is not supposed to get out. She has escaped the house 2 times in 6 years. 2 times. She got pregnant both times. Is that my fault that she's not fixed yet? Yes. I have to do this, like this week. She's just now old enough to have given birth to these. When she escaped with this last little one, I was like, oh my gosh, we're going to find homes for these kittens. I have 2 cats, y'all. You can only have so many cats. You know what I mean? And she's an indoor only cat. The other one's inside and outside. Rick's not a fan of indoor cats. So this is a lot for him as it is. So, and he loves my cats. He loves the indoor-outdoor one because it's Mr. Cool, sweet, great personality. Reminds you of the popular kid everybody likes. Like no one even dislikes him that's not popular. That's this cat, okay? He's that cat. The other cat is the artsy, I don't know if I want to be friends with you cat, okay? And she's beautiful, and but once you're her person, she is your person, and she loves me and she loves my son. So that's Mama Kitty, okay? But she wants nothing to do with Rick because, he didn't move in until she was 3 years old. She'd already picked her people. Well, these are her kittens, and they're freaking adorable, and we have been very good about handling them so they love people. I'm not just saying this because we need to get them homes. I'm telling a story. So it's 3 girls and a boy. We find a home for the girl. We're trying to, and they're all so cute. I didn't think it'd be so hard, but I understand. We're around a lot of dog people, and not everyone likes to mix them. Well, this one little kitten has taken a liking to Rick, and it was funny because the kids all wanted to keep one, and I was like, he's not going for it. And I said, your best chance is to name one after him and get it to like him. That's your best chance, okay? So they named one of the kittens Ricky Jr., and this is the kitten that's a mama's boy and almost died. It was born at the same time, like right after one that did pass away was born. And so mom discarded the one that passed away. And then when the next one came out, I'm guessing she probably smelled death on it. So she discarded him to the side. But I was watching her, and I noticed he was fine. He was just kind of a runt. So I put him back on her nipple, and then and she would push him away, and I'd put him back, and she'd push him away, and I'd put him back. And she ended up fine. She accepted him eventually, and now he is a mama's boy, and he's very healthy, and he is the cutest freaking little kitten, and he has taken a liking to Rick, the one we named Ricky Jr. Loves him some Rick. And so every time Rick opens the sunroom door, this cat runs to him and jumps on his feet and rolls over on its back and wants to be pet on the belly, and it is all about Rick. And so it is the last one I'm going to home, because if I do end up having to keep one because I don't find it a home, it's going to be this one. And Rick is like, okay, I really like this cat. Like it thinks it's a puppy and it thinks it's Rick's puppy. It doesn't do it to anyone else. Like it's friendly with everybody, but he sees Rick and he is running full speed. And then now I catch Rick baby talking this kitten and it's the cutest freaking thing. Anyways, so we have a house full of cats right now and so I'm going to be giving away a prize. I'm just kidding. But if you're in the area, yeah. Hit me up. Otherwise, join me next week for another episode. I promise it won't just be rambling. It might be, because that is kind of the point of this episode, but maybe I'll have more of a point, but maybe not. That's the joy of listening, I guess. Until then, y'all check out the poetry one. Bye, y'all.